Metallica's M72 World Tour is blazing through Toronto.
And iHeart Heavy Rock has your exclusive in
2 nights, 2 unique sets.
Wanna win? Download the free iHeartRadio app and rock out with iHeart Heavy Rock.
10 minutes of daily streaming enters you to win an epic Metallica iHeartRadio experience.
4 nights of hotel, $500, and tickets to see Metallica at the Rogers Center.
The more iHeart Heavy Rock you stream, the more chances to win.
Details at iHeartRadio.ca.
This week in gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Hello there, I'm Naomi Kyle and welcome back to This Week in Gaming. This week we're catching up on the big Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. A new Mario Kart, Final Fantasy VII goes portable, and PlayStation cancels more games. We've got all of this week's gaming news. Let's hop right in. The biggest gaming news for this week and maybe the year broke on Thursday morning after Nintendo shadow dropped an official trailer for their next console. The Nintendo Switch 2, as Nintendo is officially calling it, is going to be larger than its predecessor in just about every way. The screen is bigger, and as a result, the Joy-Con are bigger. These new Joy-Con haven't been given an official title at the time of this recording, so for simplicity's sake, I'll refer to the Switch 2's Joy-Con as the Joy-Con 2. The Joy-Con 2 do away with the rail system used by the first Joy-Con, now opting for an alternative system that uses magnets, allowing the Joy-Con 2 to snap to the sides of the console. The Joy-Con 2 appear to be capable of working like a mouse, thanks to the addition of an optical sensor on the side of the controller. I'm very excited to see what Nintendo has in mind for this hybrid mouse feature. I have high hopes that this helps bridge the gap between console and PC gaming. In addition to having a larger and most likely a higher definition screen, the Switch 2 will have a metal body, an improved kickstand, and USB-C ports on the top and bottom of the console, finally allowing for a comfortable solution to charge the Switch while playing in a handheld mode. The Nintendo Switch 2 will thankfully be backwards compatible with most games from the Nintendo Switch library and physical media thanks to the game card port. There was a quick mention that some Switch titles would be incompatible with the Switch 2. We don't officially know what games will be incompatible, so TBD on that. There are still some unknown features that the Nintendo Switch 2 has baked into its design, most notably, what does the little button on the right Joy-Con 2 do? Fortunately, we won't have to wait too long for an answer because we'll be getting a Nintendo Direct presentation on April 2nd, and that will hopefully shed some more light on the Switch 2's features. And hopefully we'll get a new game announcement or two at the end of the Direct as well. If you're a hardcore Nintendo fan, you can't possibly wait until the Switch 2's launch to play the Switch 2. So you'll be happy to know you can sign up right on Nintendo's website and register for a chance to attend the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, which will be making a pit stop in Toronto, Ontario from April 25th to the 27th. Drawings will be done at random and applicants will need a Nintendo account to register, but act fast if you're interested because registration is only open now until January 26th. During the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, we were blessed with a sneak peek at what many are anticipating will be a launch title for the new console, Mario Kart 9. There were only 20 seconds of gameplay footage in the trailer, but even given that small window of time, the internet's best cyber sleuths got to work and studied every frame to gain a better understanding of what we can expect from the next Mario Kart. Here's what we know so far. Classic Nintendo characters from previous Mario titles will absolutely be making a return, but with character models that look a bit different from their Mario Kart 8 counterparts. The most striking of these changes was noticed in Donkey Kong's character model, which closely resembles the Donkey Kong design used in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. The most outstanding detail that viewers took exceptional notice of is the width of the racetrack. It is wider than what you might be used to seeing in previous Mario Kart titles, and this could be due to a clue spotted back at the starting line. Just behind the checkered line are 24 starting positions, suggesting that the new Mario Kart will be capable of hosting races of up to 24 players. 24-player races could be Mario Kart 9's main gimmick. Just imagine the chaos. 24 players on a tiny little course like Baby Park. It would be wild. Back in 2022, Sony declared that they were working with various developers to have 12 live service games up and running by March 2026. In the years since making the announcement, Sony has walked their pledge back to a more manageable goal of 6 live service titles. Today, Sony has just one active live service game, and that's Helldivers 2, and since pulling the plug on Concord after only 2 weeks. Now, there have been reports from Bloomberg that Sony has canceled production on 2 more live service games from developers Bend Studio and Bluepoint Games. That leaves just 2 games remaining in development for Sony's live service roster, an untitled game from Haven Studios and the Marathon remake by Bungie. It appears to me that Sony is having second thoughts about pursuing the current trend that markets games as a live service. Sony struck a well of success in Helldivers 2, but for the time being, I think it is in their best interest that they revert back to focusing on creating the single-player experiences that they've built their empire on. And now back to some Switch 2 news. In preparation for the vast number of consumers looking to get their hands on a Switch 2 at launch, Nintendo is ramping up production. According to a report from Bloomberg, Nintendo is expecting to sell more than 20 million consoles in the Switch 2's first year on the market, and they're doing everything in their power to guarantee that they have enough to go around. When the Switch first hit the market back in 2017, it sold over 17 million units. And at its peak in 2021, it sold over 20 million units. The Switch's insane sales figures have added up year after year to create one of the all-time most successful consoles, selling a total of 143 million units at the time of this recording. The Switch is more successful than Nintendo had ever imagined, and there's no doubt in my mind that the Switch 2 is going to coast off the momentum of its predecessor. I'm a little concerned that 20 million units won't be enough, and that the launch of the Switch 2 will mark a rise in scalping, but we'll have to wait and see. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is mere days away from making its debut on PC. But as the date draws nearer, many have been wondering if Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be playable portably on the Steam Deck. In response to the outcry from PC gamers, the game's director, Naoki Hamaguchi, had this to say on Twitter: "We have received Steam Deck verification from Valve. I am grateful to the development team for their cooperation in optimizing the game until the very last moment. To get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to run on the Steam Deck was surely no small feat, and has been cause for celebration from PC gamers and Final Fantasy fans alike. To commemorate their accomplishment, Square Enix commissioned the creation of 3 custom Steam Decks in the likeness of Final Fantasy VII's noble steed, the Chocobo. The Chocobo Steam Decks are flocked and crowned with bright yellow feathers, if you can believe it. The custom Steam Decks will not be entering mass production, unfortunately, and the 3 that Square Enix has made will likely be raffled off in a giveaway on social media, like we've seen with other custom consoles." Now it's time to go over the video games releasing this week.
Games out this week.
On January 22nd, we get Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist, sprouting on all platforms. January 23rd, Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles gets remastered for all platforms. Synduality Echo of Ada releases on PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is officially ported from the PS5 to PC. On January 25th, Guilty Gear Strive gets ported on the Nintendo Switch. And on January 27th, Star Wars Hunters makes its way to PC. The Epic Games Store is offering just one free game this week, Behind the Frame, The Finest Scenery, which will be available for download from January 23rd to the 30th.
Quest complete.
So that's the news for this week. It's now time to chat with our guest, fellow Canadian Destin Legarie, who joins us to chat about everything there is to know about the new Nintendo Switch 2 console, including release date predictions and pricing.
Select game mode. Multiplayer.
Hey, Destin. It's so good to finally have you on my show. We have known each other for so long, having worked at IGN. You're a fellow Canadian. So I want to know, first of all, how you doing? It's been so long.
I'm doing great, and it's really, really good to see you. Congratulations on this endeavor. It has been cool to watch you continue to see success, and I like the look of the show. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We are officially on our last episode of this season, and then the next season starts next week. So you're our finale.
Going out with a bam.
Yeah. So the big news this week, we're gonna hop right in. Nintendo Switch 2 is official. After a couple leaks, everyone kind of knew it was coming. Nintendo came out and said we're doing it, and had a full trailer and just everything. So I want to know, as someone who loves Nintendo, what are your thoughts?
I'm more excited than most people about the Nintendo Switch 2, I think. A lot of people have been sort of like, yeah, it's just a Switch, but bigger. But there's a lot of cool new features that they teased in this little 2-minute trailer. I even went online and I tried to get one of the LA in-person events. I got one ticket entry. So wish me luck at getting into it. That will
it's a lottery,
take place in
right?
April. Yeah, it's like a lottery. So maybe I'll get to play it a little bit early, maybe not, but it would be cool if I did. And I'm really excited about it. Honestly, I think it's really cool. I love new hardware, and I think Nintendo seems to have some tricks up their sleeve, which we can get into for your other part.
You tell me. You tell me. What are the new tricks under Switch 2's sleeves? And also, what are some of the features that, especially like parents with kids who game, like, is there anything there for them that they should pay attention to? Yeah,
well, as always, Nintendo has a pretty robust parent system that allows parents to track what their kids are playing, limit screen time, and things like that. They announced that back with the Switch launch. Mm-hmm. And as a parent, that's really, really good news. We try and limit, like, my kid, if my son is playing on the iPad or something, we limit it to about 30 minutes. And there's similar features on the Switch, and I know games, so I'm very aware of what he will be playing and what will be appropriate. Like Mario, A-okay. Metroid, maybe not yet.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so in terms of parent capabilities, there's a lot of options there for Nintendo. What's more exciting for me, I think, are some of the little details. I'm really excited about the screen size difference. I want to see what that looks like in person, because it based on my math, bringing it into Photoshop and comparing the base unit, which they teased next to the new one, it's about a 25% increase. The rumors say it's 8.4, but a 25% increase would be like 8.75 inches, which puts it closer to the Legion Go in terms of size. So time will tell on that. The tease that really had me intrigued was a lot of people are thinking that they're making like a mouse, like it's a mouse system with the paddle where you can put it down. And developers have talked about how you can potentially raise that off a table and then rotate an object in 3D space in the game. So that's really, really interesting and exciting for me as a player, especially when Nintendo is the one able to tinker with that, because they usually have really, really cool stuff. This is the company that made the Labo series of cardboard games, so they're not afraid to get a little whimsical.
And speaking of games on the new Switch, the big thing was that it looks like the launch title is going to be Mario Kart 9. Did you think that would be happening? I predicted that it might be a Mario Kart 8. It has to be like a big franchise whenever they launch a new console. And also, do you think they'll come out with announce another game? Because I wonder if they were kind of forced to come out with this announce a bit sooner than they were hoping.
Yeah, I've heard people debating whether it's Mario Kart 9 or if Nintendo is officially counting the mobile version, so it's actually Mario Kart 10. I don't know which one they're going to go with, because there's some debate about that in the community right now. But that said, I think Mario Kart's a great first game to have on the system. If we go back and look at what the original Nintendo Switch had, we had Breath of the Wild, Shovel Knight, and in the launch window, we had Mario Kart 8. Maybe we get Mario Kart, the Metroid Prime 4 game that has been teased a few times, and it's too early for a new Smash, so I'm not really sure what else they could do, but a Mario game, just an old school Mario game, I think would make a lot of people really, really happy. Along with, of course, the third-party games. We know there's like 12 games already in the works, I think, for the new system, but they're old games that are being ported to the Nintendo Switch 2, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah. So all in all, your take is that you're excited for it and you think that the Switch 2 is something that people should keep an eye out.
Absolutely, they should, just for the sheer fact that this will be a more powerful machine, meaning all of your old games, which have been sort of throttled by the old hardware that the Switch is sporting, will now be able to be enhanced in a lot of ways, like a more stable frame rate, better looking graphics, smoother gameplay. There's a lot of people out there who have modded the games and played them on more powerful hardware, and they're playing, Breath of the Wild in native 4K at 60 frames per second, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So any enhancements that official hardware could actually bring to those old Nintendo games is very exciting for me as a player that likes to play on bespoke hardware as opposed to modding.
Right. Okay, that being said, we know that it's been said that this is not, or at least it's rumored that it's not an OLED. It's not an OLED screen. So they're going with the basic LCD. Given that, what are we thinking price prediction wise? Do you have any speculation on what people can expect to pay out the gate for the first Switch 2? Assuming they're going to come out with another one later.
Yeah, that's true. They could do the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro.
Right.
Or something like that. Or I have my OLED right here, actually, on the desk next to me. I think the price point is going to be $449. That has been my prediction for a long time. But I think it will come bundled with a game. And I think that's how they get to that price point. I do think there will be a $399 basic bundle of some sort. And that's sort of where I've landed with my price guess. That is a complete guess. I base that on absolutely nothing, just kind of looking at the market.
Yeah.
And thinking, well, how much are the other console manufacturers launching their stuff for? Well, they're not going to do 750 like the PlayStation 5 Pro did. I believe the Xbox Series X is about $399. So that's sort of the floor. And I think that's where they would want to come in. But maybe they bump it up to $449 with a game.
Okay. Those are some good predictions. Release date predictions? Do we have an idea? They've said this year, but we don't have any sort of release window or anything.
We're getting hands-on in April. I think after people actually get their hands on the unit, I think they give it a little bit of a beat. And then June is my prediction. Okay. So again, basing that off of nothing, but I was on a podcast yesterday where the Xbox people said that historically, usually they have a hands-on event and then you have a release a few months after that. So I'm excited to get my hands on it for sure. And June would be a pretty solid window. Right now, we don't really know anything else for the year except for Grand Theft Auto, which usually launches in the fall.
Okay. Do you think this will do as well as the first Switch?
Projections are already putting it around 20 million sold. I mean, those are analysts and they're making an educated guess, of course, but I think it will do well. I think anybody who wants an enhanced experience is going to go for this unit. All the kids are going to be bugging mom and dad for the new Switch. Mm-hmm. I want to play the new Pokemon or whatever may be coming with it. And being able to experience all of your old games here, it does make it a pretty good value proposition for parents, I think.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all your expert opinion and talk about this. It's always good to have you just be able to break it down and like really get a sense so that people know whether this is a buy, like a must buy or a wait and see. But I want to get into your latest thing that you're doing because you have for such a long time been a big personality at IGN. People know you from there, but you just announced that you're going off on your own endeavor. You're creating your own content. So tell me more about what your plans are.
Yeah, so my immediate plans are to launch the independent endeavor. Yes. It has definitely been a little bit of learning behind the scenes, mostly in terms of how much I can actually handle as one creator.
Yeah.
But if you want to see some of the plans, you can go over to patreon.com/SaveStatePlus. I already have a few previews that I'm actively working on. I have news coverage that I've done, like with the Nintendo Switch 2 launch. We have an interview with Phil Spencer, or I have an interview with Phil Spencer coming up on the 24th. That will be one of my core interview pieces that go to the Patreon first and then launch on YouTube later. And I'm really, really excited about it. There's a lot happening behind the scenes to get all of these previews and all this coverage rolling. And it's a lot, but it's the good kind of problem to have, right? It's right. Like you're excited. It's a new endeavor, and I can't wait to show you all what I've been cooking.
Oh man, I'm so excited to see it as well. And congrats. Like already out the gate, you got an interview with Phil Spencer. So that's like huge. Congrats on that. So where, as you said, Patreon, is there anywhere else people can follow you? And also what can they expect coming up soon? Can you tease anything?
Yeah, well, the Phil Spencer interview drops on the 24th. So I'm not sure when this airs, but that could either be live already on the Patreon or coming imminently. And then separately from that, you can also find me on youtube.com/@DestinL or the Destin channel. Naomi, you actually helped me name the YouTube channel because at the time I was like, I need something that's just like really simple. And you're like, why don't you just call it the Destin channel? It was an offhanded comment you made while we were walking to the gym or something. And or to BART. BART is the transportation system in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not a bad idea. So I just called it that, and I just left it. I never changed it. Yeah. So
well, I'm so honored to be part of the history of the Destin channel. That is so cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been so awesome having you on the show. Obviously, I do hope that you'll come back for another episode at some point in the future so you can talk more about what you're working on and obviously all the good gaming stuff we have going on. But yeah, thank you so much, Destin. Hope you had a good time.
I sure did, and I would love to come back. It was great chatting with you again.
Amazing. Have a good one.
You too.
Destin Legarie is a content creator and producer on the Destin channel on YouTube. You can follow him on Twitter at Destin Legarie.
Flawless victory! Continue!
And that's This Week in Gaming. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle, and I had such a blast bringing you the news this week. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks to my co-writer, Josh Seaman, for coming through on the script every single week. And don't forget to let me know what you're playing and what you think about these stories by tagging me at Naomi Kyle on social. From all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you a fun-filled week. We will be back, same time, same place, next week. Shout out to you guys, and thanks for listening.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these.
Metallica's M72 World Tour is blazing through Toronto.
And iHeart Heavy Rock has your exclusive in.
2 nights, 2 unique sets.
Wanna win? Download the free iHeartRadio app and rock out with iHeart Heavy Rock.
10 minutes of daily streaming enters you to win an epic Metallica iHeartRadio experience.
4 nights of hotel, $500, and tickets to see Metallica at the Rogers Center.
The more iHeart Heavy Rock you stream, the more chances to win.
Details at iHeartRadio.ca.